Great. Good evening to one and all present here. A warm welcome to our beloved resource person, Mr. Jayaganthan Ethirajan, and our HOD in charge, Ms. A. Vijayalakshmi ma'am, and to all the staffs, coordinate members, committee members, and students present here. I'm Avinash, the president of Computer Science Department. So I'm very glad to invite you all to this webinar conducted by the Transcode Forum of DGVC College, Computer Science Department. This webinar is going to be taken by our resource person, Mr. Jayaganthan Ethirajan, which is on the topic of cloud-based mobile device management. I hope it's going to be an interesting and useful session. So we are welcoming you, sir. So and thank you for accepting our request and taking your time to take this webinar. And now I'll call upon our head in charge, Ms. Vijayalakshmi ma'am, to address the gathering.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the faculty members and the Students Forum Transcode, it's my privilege to welcome our resource person, Mr. Jayakanthan Ethirajan, Assistant Consultant of TCS, for his acceptance to deliver us a session on cloud-based mobile device management. Thank you, sir. And my sincere thanks to our management, our Honorable Secretary, and our respected Principal for giving us this fine opportunity to conduct such events. Thank you, sir. And on behalf of the Department of Computer Science, I welcome you all people once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
So before getting into the webinar, I would like to just give a brief introduction about our resource person. So Mr. Jayaganthan Ethirajan started his career in IMRB, Indian Market Research Bureau, as a research analyst. Then he moved to HP as a support engineer for 3 years. Then he moved to TCS, Tata Consulting Service, and has an experience of 13 years. And then he worked in different sectors such as retail, manufacturing, telecom, marketing. Mr. Jayaganthan Ethirajan traveled many European countries and Gulf countries. He's currently debuted in Australia. So once again, we are welcoming you, sir. Thank you so much for accepting our request and coming here to take this webinar. I hope the students will really be benefited out of this webinar. So once again, thank you, sir. So shall we start the webinar, sir?
Yeah. Good evening to everyone. Before we kick off with this webinar session, I would like to thank the college principals, the staff members, the professors, and the students for inviting me this webinar. And also, honestly speaking, I am really glad and being a part of it. I believe you guys have already given an introduction about me. I don't think I've got anything to say. I'll make it short and sweet about myself. Myself, Jayakanthan Ethirajan, and I've been working with IT industry for the past 16 years, and I worked in the various domains and the technologies. Currently, I've been deputed in the Australian University through my organization to support one of the retailer for their IT infrastructure services. With these technologies, since I said like I've been working with a lot of domain and the technology, in recent years, the MDM technology has grown just like a hell, and it is being reached out in all the corporate companies as well as in the IT organization. So we discussed about this MDM. Trust me, it's not that difficult to understand. It is quite easy, and people who are going to get into MDM, trust me, you can easily learn without having any other knowledge. All you need is the basic knowledge of how you use your mobile devices. And remember, when I say mobile devices, it's not the mobile phone. Mobile devices in IT industry, it is a set of all the technology devices, which would be iPhone, iPad, Red devices, Android devices, including your iPhone. So in IT industry, if anybody says mobile device management, it is not a mobile phone. It includes all the devices that is being used by the people. Like I said, iOS device, iPhone, and Apple, and Chrome OS, and Windows devices, and the Android devices. So I've got a few presentations for you guys, which would give you the overview of what it is all about, and also I'll let you know how it goes. And let me know if you know my screen and if it is visible. And also, please let me know if you want me to slow down somewhere. I'm pretty much happy to slow down myself. And if you have, you can ask me at the end of this session also. And also, if you have any, if you want me to repeat something that you weren't able to understand what I said, I'm more happy to repeat that again for you guys. Could someone confirm if you could see my screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible. It's clear.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you. The first slide, it's all about the agenda, what we're going to discuss about. We have got only the 7 line items which we're going to discuss about it. We'll go through one by one, and it would not take much time because, like I said, and also you please remember the topic which we're going to discuss about today. It is only the basic concepts. It's just the basic concepts of the definitions and how it has been introduced in the IT industries, and what are the functions and how it is being used. So in depth, if you wanted to understand the old technology of this in-depth of ocean, you have a lot of dumps, and also you have a lot of websites where you can Google and you can understand in-depth. For being a fresher like you guys, when you pass out the 3rd year and look for an organization for a job, the basic concept which we're going to discuss, it is pretty much good enough because that is more knowledgeable understanding of the things which you could learn from this topic. So going to the enterprise mobiles management. What is this enterprise mobility management? Why and all of a sudden this mobile device management is being introduced in the IT industries? It's because if you see 10 years before, any organization as an employee working for it, the organization would be providing the laptop or the workstation, which is nothing but the desktops. There is no concept of MDM in those days, and later on the technology grown as it is, people started using their mobile phone as their computer or their personal computer. And they started doing all the transaction instead of using the laptops, their mobile phones. By using such things, which created a huge loss, and also the organization in the IT industry lost many customers because the data, what have been accessed onto the mobile phone, that has been easily stolen by the third-party hackers and also the vendors who could easily track your device with the help of the apps which is installed in it. And that's why the IT industry thought, why can't we bring a technology which could protect the business data on the mobile devices? And that is what EMM, which is nothing but Enterprise Mobility Management. So it is a set of technologies and a process designed to fortify the corporate data security. When I say corporate, it is not only the corporate. It could be any IT company, such as like TCS, CTS, or it could be any client outside the world, like Shoppers Stops, or it could be your Titan company or such things. And this tool also helped this IT industry to protect the sensitive data on the mobile devices, and the IT administrator who managed this tool can remotely connect to the devices, and he can remotely access all the data required to their employees, providing the access levels. So by introducing this, the theft of the business data has been controlled in the IT industry on the mobile devices. In EMM, there is 4 different components. It is a mixture of 4 components which would be required in EMM, or we call it as the mobile device management. The 4 mobile device management is nothing but it's what I could say, it is a mixture of all the components which give you the old tool to the infrastructure. The whole 4 infrastructure tools can be divided into 4 sectors. The one is mobile device management. The second one is mobile application management. The third one is mobile content management and mobile identity management. I'll tell you definition of each, what it is all about. And also please understand EMM and MDM are the same, but in reality they are not same. EMM, it's the components of 4. I mean, it includes the mobile device management, application management, content management, and identity management. But mobile device management, it only consists of the devices that are being used in the tool. So if you consider what is the difference between the EMM and MDM, MDM is manage only the devices, but EMM manages everything all together with one single portal or console access. So going to the next slide, like I said, MDM, it is a basic foundation of EMM. Like I said, it will manage only the mobile devices, which can be controlled remotely, and it can be tracked real-time device location and wiping the data in the device when lost or stolen. It is understandable by reading it, but I'll explain it. Say your principal has procured 500 mobile devices for your college. And principal decides that he wanted to give all these mobile devices to the department. For an example, electronic department or computer science department, and he wanted to split other department as well. And also he wanted to give some of the devices to your college professors who are teaching you every day for your educational purposes. So just giving the devices to them, you never know who is using what devices and who have got what devices in their hand, and whether it is inside the college itself or it's someone stolen it from somebody. So to make sure to manage these devices, you have to enroll these devices under the mobile device management. So that's why mobile device management, it only manages the devices and where you can remotely connect them and you can remotely find where exactly it is. When I say where you can find it easily, which nothing but the device location. If I'm stealing one of the devices which belong to your college, the IT administrator easily can find where the device is currently located with the help of GPS. Because all these devices only work with the 4G network, which is from the carrier service provider. In India, we have 2 service providers currently. One is Airtel Bharati, another one is the Jio Telecom. The Vodafone is still starting, but it's not up to the mark. But these 2 vendors are being provided the 4G SIM card, which you can use in the mobile devices. So as soon as your device connects to the internet with the help of this Airtel service provider, the IT admin, which belong to your college, can easily find the location. And also you can delete the data immediately so that the data will not be stolen from anybody. And second thing is mobile application management. The name itself defines the application. For an example, I'll give you. You buy a new mobile in your phone, but in mobile, say if it is an Android mobile, in Android mobile, you can see the pre-installed apps, which is like Google Maps and Photos or Gallery, and it has a Play Store, and it has Google Drive, and is also installed the Google Duo or Google Meet or something like that. So when you buy these devices, you want it to disable. Say an example, the principal decides that nobody should use Google Maps in the devices which is being given by the educational minister. So this application management allows where you can disable the Google Map itself in the devices, which is already installed. You cannot uninstall them from the devices, The only thing you can do is you can disable them from your phone. And also you can install any software that you wanted to install on the mobile devices. And also you can uninstall them remotely. Say college has introduced a new app which they wanted to install on the devices. With the help of application management tool, the application can be deployed easily on the phone. It could be the WhatsApp as well. Say if the company, if the organization decides or the educational device team decides that they would like to install the WhatsApp Messenger only in the profile, only in the devices which are being used by the professors, they can install only for those devices the WhatsApp. So to install and uninstall of any softwares onto that particular devices, the mobile application management tool would help you to installing this software. Not only installing the software, it also give you a control where you can control the updates of the iOS or Android or either the Windows updates. Many of them might not be using iOS. The best example is your Android devices. If you see all the Android phones get every 2 months or 3 months to update your devices with the new Android version. But the console in the application management would allow you to either update the device nor not to update the device. So it depends on the organization or the education department who can decide whether they have to install it or not to install it. So to do such things, the only thing could be done through the mobile application management. So understand, the mobile device management is only to manage the devices which you buy. The application management, it is used only for the software which you would like to uninstall and install and disable the apps which is already installed or pre-installed by the manufacturer. To do such things, you'll be using the mobile application management. What is this mobile content management? That is one of the key component in the EMM in all the organization, including your educational department as well, because it deals with your database. It deals with your critical documents, media. The best example is your banking app. Many of them started using online banking app in the mobile phones, right? So what happens when you try to access your banking information in the mobile app, it can be easily stolen by somebody, right? So to make sure that it is not being accessed by any unauthorized apps and devices, which is being already installed in that particular devices, this content management will help you to take care of all your data which are sensitive, and also which is it could be even your company video, which is about your college festival or seminars, anything that can be protected through the content management. The fourth is identity management. When I say identity management, it is up to the organization or the corporate whether they would like to adopt this identity management or not. What is this identity management? It mainly deals with ensuring the employee has been given the right access. Like I said, the college decides only the professor should use the WhatsApp Messenger for internal communications, not all the students. So all the devices might have a WhatsApp installed by default. By unfortunately, it is installed on all the devices, but the IT can control it, where whenever you try to enter the WhatsApp Messenger, it will say a message stating that you are not an authorized person to use the WhatsApp Messenger. So that restrictions can be given through the identity management with the help of user ID and the password. And also it allows to manage and control the enterprise's single sign-on capabilities and multi-factor authentication. What is this enterprise single sign-on? Same, in your college, you have 4 different applications to be using on daily basis. For an example, your professor logs in every day in the morning, and he have to enter his timesheet for the day. So when he try to access the timesheet, it would require for user ID and the password. At the same time, he would like to access his payslip for the current month. He wanted to see what is the payment he has got for the month, whether he got any deduction in the for the last month's salary or such things. So he has to enter the username and the password again for that. Instead of entering the user ID and the password again and again, this identity management helps with the help of Active Directory, just one-time log on. If you just log in with one time, that will sync for all other 4 applications at the same time. So the professor need not to enter the user ID and the password every time. What is this multi-factor authentication? It is a one level above to the single sign-on capabilities. The best example, like I said, the online internet banking. So when you log into your online internet banking, first you enter the user ID and the password. So once the password is entered and it is being authenticated by the bank server, immediately it will send you the OTP PIN number to enter. So that second level OTP PIN authentication is nothing but the multi-factor authentication, where you will be receiving it from the bank server through the register mobile phone, where you have to enter that manually into that particular OTP field. So this is called a multi-factor authentication. So the 4th, mobile identity management, it depends purely on the organization whether they would like to go ahead with their Active Directory authentication, or is that fine to use only by the console access. So it's up to the organization what they have to decide. But when you're choosing the EMM, it comes along with these 4 components, and it ups to the organization again whether they would like to use all the 4 components, or just 2 components, or just 1 component. It purely depends on the organization. But in IT industries, I believe 90% of the corporate companies are using all these components to make sure that the data is secure, safe, and it is not been stolen by anybody. So, who are these EMM vendors? Not only in India, across the world, the top 5 EMM vendors are Workspace. Previously it was known as AidWatch. This AidWatch, they have one of their customer service center in Bangalore, and that is the head office for all South India. And I believe they have got more than 10,000 employees currently working for that, and they're supporting in all the products which comes under the VMware. And Mobile Iron, it is also the second place in the supporting this EMM tool. And the third one is Citrix. And the 4th one you pretty all much know, IBM. 5th one is the BlackBerry. But BlackBerry is the one who started initially in 2003 introducing this EMM tool. But later on, the utilization of BlackBerry has gone down because the Android is the most device which is being used across the world by the many users, and especially in the Asian country, and especially in country India, you can see the Android users are quite larger in numbers. And the platforms which supports, it's Apple, the Apple devices, which you can see the smartphones and the tablets, Android, Apple iOS, and the Windows. And the laptops like Chrome OS, which is manufactured and produced by the Google, and the Mac OS X is produced and developed by the Apple, and the Windows, as you all know, it is a Microsoft product, and the red devices are Android and the Windows Mobile. So like I said in the beginning, and in the IT industry, if anybody says mobile device management, Please keep in your mind, it is not your phone. It includes of your smartphones, tablets, laptops, and the REC devices. So I'm going to give this architecture. The architecture which you're seeing in the left-hand side, it is a cloud-based solution. Previously, in 2003, when we started this MDM solution, it was on-premises. When I say on-premises, the solution is being controlled, managed, and customized, deployed by the infrastructure, which means the organization have to spend a lot of money investing and buying the hardware devices such as server room, switches, internet MPL links, and also they have to buy a space for deploying all these servers and all those things. And also they have to pay electricity bill, and also they have to maintain the temperature all the time cool, because the server should not be hot. If it goes beyond hot, it must shut down immediately. And so this was costing too much of money for all the corporate companies. As technology grown in the recent days, as you all know, the cloud computing became much familiar, and it has been adopted by all the organization, and they started migrating all their on-premises to their cloud computing. When it comes to the cloud computing, you will get the solution in just 1 minute. If your college principal decides that he would like to buy only for 500 devices and it is ready immediately, you need not to spend much time thinking about what configuration I have to buy everything. So all this being decided in cloud just in 1 minute of time, and no infrastructure, and you don't have to give any staffing investments on that. So there is no space, no electricity bill, no internet payment, no hardware requirements, no maintenance cost, nothing when it comes to the clouds. So if you look into here, Apple Business Manager and the workspace. This IT department, just consider that as your college. So your college has procured 500 devices. They wanted to make that 500 devices as a DEP enrollment. What is this DEP? I'll tell you what is this DEP. DEP is nothing but Device Enrollment Program. What it means, say, when I procure 500 devices, and I have to make sure it has a DEP, which means each of these 500 devices serial number are registered in this Apple Business Manager. Either it could be directly from the Apple where you procure it, or from your reseller. In India, we have reseller like Reliance and many other companies. But even now, the Apple started their own online business since from, I believe, June. So all the organizers started procuring the device directly from the Apple. So what happens if I'm not registering the device serial number into the DEP? Say someone has stolen my devices and it is not a DEP and it is a non-DEP or non-DEP devices. If my device is not registered with the DEP and it is acting as a non-DEP, if someone stole it, if he is able to reset it to the manufacturing settings, he can use it as his own devices, and it could become as his own personal devices for life longer, which I cannot monitor them, which I cannot find where exactly it is located, and it is stolen and it is lost for the organization or for the educational. But if I do register with the serial number with the DEP, if it is stolen by somebody, and if they try to reset to the manufacturer settings and start from the scratch for enrolling it, say if you buy a mobile phone, it will ask you to enroll it with your email address like Google or Yahoo or whatever. So that prompt will not come here. It will directly show a message stating that this device belongs to DG Vaishnava College. You cannot configure or you cannot use them. It will stuck in there, and it cannot be used for any other purpose. Even you cannot put your SIM card into that. Either you cannot install any software because it will lock at the first level itself, saying that this device belongs to so-and-so organization, or it could belong to your DG Vaishnava college. So that enables the device security at the first level itself, so that you can easily identify where the device is located, and also you can save your data and all those informations. This blue color cloud, it is nothing but the AirWatch. Like I said, we have the top 5 EMM vendors. I'm just taking this VMware AirWatch and how they are configuring the whole infrastructure for your organization. So the 500 devices been given to the tech, and it is registered with all the serial numbers. You have the devices in your hand now. And when you purchase and subscribe for this EMM tool, this AirWatch would give you a portal access, or you can consider as a console access, like https://cn500.airwatchportal.com. When you go online with this particular website, it will give you a pop-up message like this, where you have to enter the username and the password. This username and the password will be provided by the Apple or by the AirWatch based on the device enrollment program. Once you enter the user ID and the password, you will be authenticated and will be granted access. So in this portal, you can start creating the user ID. Like I said, the Microsoft Identity Management, it purely depends on the organization, how they wanted to register their devices into the console. So you can create an account, say an example, DGV0001 for 1 devices. So likewise, you can create for another 500 devices, starting from 0001 to probably 499. It goes on the serial wise where you can create it. So once you create the user account, you will be logging into this particular portal, and you will register all the devices with the help of Intelligent Hub. This Intelligent Hub, you can figure it out in all the App Store or Play Store. Even you can search in your Android devices. If you go to Play Store, if you type in for Intelligent Hub, it will give you a software app. It is an interface app developed by the AirWatch, which plays in between your device and to the server. So this interface helps you to register the device and make sure it is the right devices which is procured by your organization, and it is not the stolen devices or anything like that. So once you enter the user ID and the password with the help of Intelligent Hub, it will send a notification, which is the APN service, and it will start communicating to your serial number. And it says that it belongs to the so-and-so educational or organization. Then it will start sending the information where you can start implementing other activities such as installing the app, WhatsApp Messenger, Facebook, Microsoft Office, or anything, whatever the apps you would like to install on it, you can install on it. Remember that it is a one-time registration. It will register only with your organization domain account. Say an example, if you have www.dgvaishnava.com, the DEP account should be in such a way like @DGV.com. It should not be your Google. It should not be your Yahoo account. It should not be your Hotmail account or any other account. It purely registered only on the organization domain or the company domain.com, not with your personal, and they will not accept your personal email address to enroll and register with your device enrollment program. So you always have to keep in your mind, when you go for a device enrollment program, you have to provide the domain which is registered on that particular educational institution, not to the organizations. So this is where it plays around. And so when I'm saying theoretically, you might be a bit confused or it might be boring, but when you get into the reality of registering the devices, you will really like it, because people who love the Android devices, such as any Chrome gaming and activities, you can do all the things with it with the help of the AirWatch, where you can manage the software, apps, and all such things. So I'll explain you again how it works. It is a cloud-based SaaS environment solution. It's not an on-premises, because you're not finding any hardware here, server, or any racks or network switch, anything, nothing. You're just seeing a cloud, because it is all hosted in the cloud. So this IT department, consider as your educational institute, where you have got 500 devices, and you want to make sure these 500 devices are deaf-enrolled devices. To do so, you have to provide all the serial number to the reseller or the carriers who will register in behalf of you if you want. Nor you can log in with your deaf email ID and the password, and you can register all the serial number of this 500 devices here. By doing so, the device will not be stolen of anybody or used by anybody if it is stolen, because it will lock the device by your company profile, policy, and everything, and it will keep on asking for enter the user ID and the password to proceed and use it further on the device apps. So once you've done with that, you will log into the console, which is provided by the EMM service provider AirWatch. When you go to this website, this will prompt you a page where you'll enter the username and the password. And most probably this will be given to the administrator, not to the any guest users. So once he enters the user ID and the password, he will create a 500 account for this 500 devices to register the devices in the console. So once you have done with that, you can see the devices which has been enrolled and registered in the console, and you can start managing, deploying the apps, and you can start remotely configuring, installing, and pushing the policies, securities, documents. And if you would like to install any gaming software, you can also push it through these devices. And remember, the app which are created for iOS, it will always end with the extension of IPA, .IPA. Any extension which comes from .apk, it is only for the Android devices. So you have to make sure that when you're deploying any app to the iOS devices, that app should be built and developed in such an extension of .iOS or .IPA. If you are deploying any software app which has to be run in the Android devices, it should be .apk format file. That only it supports. So this device enrollment program, I'm just given a short description how it works. And also I've attached the PDF in here, which will give you the whole idea about it. I have shared this presentation with Ms. Revati. After this session, you could request her. She will be sharing this presentation to you. You can go through with this document. It's just a 2-page document, which will give you in detail how it happens and what happens in the background after we enroll in the device as a serial. This is licensing. You have 2 different licensing in the AirWatch by the service provider. The first one is the device-based licensing. The second one is the user-based licensing. The difference between the device-based licensing and the user-based licensing. See, device-based licensing, it is just for a single devices, or a shared devices. Let's take an example. you have a 3 years department. I mean, every department have got 3 different years, right? First year student, second year student, and the third year student. But the professor would be teaching for all these students. Unfortunately, the subject would varies or the syllabus should varies, but he is the professor for all this first year, second year, and third year student. He has got 3 different devices in hand. The one devices purely belong to the first year, the second device belong to for the second year, and third device belong to the third year devices. So if he goes for the user-based license, with the help of one user ID and password, he can log in and use 3 devices, and it could be anything. It could be Android, it could be your MacBook, it could be your Windows device, or it could be your iPhone or iOS devices. But the single device-based licensing, it allowed to log in only when one device is, which is shared by the multiple users. That would be best example for the students, because the first year students will not be returning in the first year itself. They will move on to the second year. So the first year, the next year, the new students who would be joining, they would be the first year for your college. So they can use that device as a shared devices with a common user ID and the password. Instead of creating a personal user ID and the password, you can create the shared user ID and the password, which would allow the multiple users can log into the devices, and that user ID and the password exists unless and until the IT administrator delete from the console. So that's the difference between the device-based license and the user-based license. And the user-based license is not available in on-premises. It is available only in the cloud solution environment, because one user will be logging into 3 devices. If I've got 100 users, just imagine that would be 100 into 3, which would be 300 devices, which would cost huge money for the organization, spending for the maintaining and also for updating the devices and on-premises. So that's why the user-based license is available only in the cloud, not on the on-premises. So the apps and the futures. This is where you will be working a lot, because so far what we have decided, it is all one-time installing, configuring policies and everything. It's just a one-time implementation. Once you enroll the devices, it will be registered in your console, and you can start deploying your app. What is this VPP, Volume Purchase Program? Say your principal has decided to buy 500 Microsoft Office packages. Unfortunately, for this particular academic year, instead of 500 students, there was a 550 students who have joined to the education organization. So now you are running out of 50 licenses. So in those, if you wanted to buy another 50 licenses, the college has a process where they have to go ahead and get an approval from the admin department, finance department, and finally it goes for the billing, and then they will be procuring it. To do such things, it would take a longer time, because the process itself would take a longer time from the department to another department. So if you have a volume purchase program, it will be enrolled by your DEP or to the application, Apple application program, where you will be registered with your credit card information. As soon as you buy an additional of 50 licenses, it will not ask you for any authentication. The Apple will directly provide you 50 licenses, and you can start using that immediately, instead of going through all this process. What happens, instead of 500, I have got only 450 for the second academic year. I can easily go ahead and remove the 50 licenses from my console so that I will not be charged for that 50. I'll be charged only for 450 licenses. For remaining 50 licenses, I'll be getting money back or refunded back to my console or to the credit card, which I've registered while I'm buying the V. Public apps. Public apps is nothing but a free apps. Like I said, in your phone, if you go to the Play Store, if you wanted to install the WhatsApp, you can search for the WhatsApp message or for the Facebook Messenger. You can download and install it automatically. That is called the public apps. So any apps which are downloaded without any fee, it is called public apps. What is this in-house apps? In-house apps is developed by the organization or by the educational institute or by the corporate team. These apps you will not be finding anywhere in the App Store, nor in the Play Store, nor in the market. You will find only them in your organization portal or website, which is developed and created by your students or by the organization employee. So that is the in-house applications. The best example would be, like I said in the beginning, the college wanted to maintain the timesheet entry of all the professors. They would be creating the app which talks about the timesheet entry. So they can fill in their timesheet for the day they have entered into the school. The industry use. What is this industry use and how it is reached to the industry use? This is where interested, where you can see it is being used in healthcare, transport, and educational institute and the retails. How does it help in the healthcare? 10 years before, a doctor who was attending a patient has to do the diagnosis on the patient, and also they have to record and make the and also they have to type in all the details in the computer. Now they have to say to the attendant or to the whoever is their assistant, and they are the one who started entering all this information in the computer. By doing so, the data has been stolen easily and it has been spreaded across to the third-party vendor, and they started doing business because they easily came to know what is the diagnosis being done on that particular patient. To avoid such compliance and to meet the standard compliance of the industry, they started accessing this mobile device management. So the doctor can use the device by hand, and then and there itself they can enter the diagnosis being done to that patients. So the data is secure and safe, and it is not stolen by anybody. Transport. Say your principal is being traveled from one branch to another branch. Unfortunately, he carries the MDM devices with him, but he forget to take his mobile devices, but you can't able to reach him. His mobile phone, where you can't reach him. If you know what the device is being used by him as an MDM, it will help the IT administrator to find his location, where exactly and which branch is located currently with the help of GPS geography location. And also, it helps the organization to monitor where the marketing executive is currently traveling and how many cities they have been traveled in so far for the month, and all the such reports can be easily tracked by the transport. In India, we have not implemented in the buses, the local buses or local trains, but if you look into the abroad, all the buses have got the MDM devices installed in the buses and the local trains to make sure for tracking the device where exactly the device is located, along with the driver and also the passenger status on it. Education. Why education? If you see in the recent days, all the education, including the school colleges, started adopting tablet-based education. When I say tablet-based education, the school started providing the tablet to the students instead of giving the books. So what happened? Some of them started using it for third-party vendors' purposes, and it is being misused by some of the students. So this EMM tool for this educational industry helps in such a way. Trust me, if you have a device which is given by your educational institute, the educational IT team or the administrator can disable the camera, they can disable the Google Chrome browser, they can disable the WhatsApp messengers, even they can disable the old device, and they can enable only the kiosk mode, which means single app mode. Say an example, as soon as I turn on my device, I need to see only the science experiment data today. So today, the lecture is going to start discussing about the computer. So the screen will display only the computer-related articles, documents, and it will give you the data which belong to the information from the college. You cannot press the home screen. You cannot see your photo. You can't see nothing except the single mode, except the information that would like to be displayed on the device mode. That is called single app mode or kiosk mode. It only have the one application running on the devices, and all the other devices, applications will be running on the back of the devices, but you cannot access them, or either you cannot see them. You can't do anything because it's completely locked, and that helps the educational institution to have all the students' attention only on the subject related to the courses. Retails. This will help you. The device is not outside the store. For example, if you're going for if you're going for an Airtel showroom to buy a SIM card, in the store you can find many phones which is kept for the display. If you try to steal that device, and if you try to move the device from that particular location, it will start immediately making an alert notification to the IT administrator stating that this device is going outside the store geographical location. So where you can enable the device, it's not moving out of the store unless and until it is properly purchased by the customer or by any employee or anybody. If anybody trying to take that home, now you can't take it. It will completely block it because it is managed by the EMM, which has the capability of ensure that devices cannot leave a specific geographical location. It is accessible only with the 50. If I decide that it has to be accessed through only the Airtel service provider, it will only accessible through the Airtel service provider. If you try to change your service carrier from Airtel to Vodafone or something else, it will immediately give an alert message to the IT department saying that the device is trying to be stolen by somebody. You can delete the data. To secure these informations, the EMM is being used in the industry in this manner. And finally, what we have got is the benefits. So like I said, 10 years before, the IT admins started deploying this MDM tool. In India, it was introduced in the year 2003 by BlackBerry, and later on it is adopted by the AirWatch. You can see the multiple advantage and the benefits of this enterprise mobility. The first one is managing multiple devices from a single console. Like I said, you can manage multiple devices. Never mind if you have a 5,000 devices, one console will help you to manage 5,000 devices with a mixture of Android, iOS, Windows, or Chrome. Any operating system, it will adapt easily and it will allow you to enroll them into the console. And the second one is apply profiles, policies, and restrictions. This apply profiles, like I said, the single mode app profile, so that whenever you turn on the device, you will find only the college related article documents. You cannot see any other browser. You cannot see the desktop screen. You cannot see the home screen, nothing. Even you cannot change the wallpaper. Even you cannot change the passcode. Even you cannot change the pattern of your passcode, anything. That policy has been created with the help of that. And restrictions, like I said, you cannot browse any other website. If college decides that you can Google only google.com, it will only allow to the google.com. And it will allow only the DG Vaishnava College website. You can just browse only which is belong to the company intranet website and the company provided allowed internet websites. So that restrictions can be done with this help of EMM. And containers of corporate data on the personal devices to ensure ROPSET enterprises mobile management and security. This is an artificial intelligence integration which will allow you to maintain your personal devices and also the company devices, which means some organizations accepts the use of personal devices to be enrolled in their AirWatch console. But the only disadvantage is it cannot be controlled by the IT administrator, but they can control only the apps which they were pushed on that particular devices. And it will enforces the app device security measures. Like I said, you can decide what app need to be installed and what apps needs to be displayed on the devices. And you can easily track the asset with the help of user ID and the password. And you can detect and remove the jailbroken and rooted devices. Sometimes someone would be knowing the user ID and the password, and they will start registering themselves in their own personal devices. The IT admin can easily identify whether it is company purchased or it is a personal devices. So if he feels that it is a third party who is registered with with the help of user ID and the password, he can delete and remove that particular devices alone from that particular console. You can track the mobile device in the real time because it is always connected to the internet. So you can easily identify where this device is currently located and who is being using it and which department is using it. Manage available OS updates on devices. This is very important. If you became an MDM administrator, do not ever try to update OS unless and until you will get a concurrence or an approval from your organization. Because your college would have developed an app which might be compatibility with iOS only 13 version. If you upgrade to iOS 14, the developed app which is installed on that particular devices might not work. If that doesn't work, the business will lose huge amount of money because the business will not happen because the app itself is not working because of the compatibility of iOS version. So where you can decide whether you wanted to install the OS or you don't want it to install the OS on that particular devices. It will help it also reduce the IT help desk. Like I said, any organization will be having different kind of support. They'll be having a service desk as well. This EMM tool helps reducing of the service call and the service desk representative, because the IT administrator himself can manage all these devices with the help of the tools. And finally, the revoke and selective wipe devices, which is nothing but I have 10 devices. Out of 10, I have to delete 2 of the devices, and the rest 8 should be in operational. Only those 2 devices, and I can delete them. Hello? Someone said, hello? Someone said something?
Vian, you have turned on your mic, so it would be nice if you off your mic again. Sorry, sir, he has on his mic without his consent.
Where did I left it?
No, sir, he on it without his knowledge. So that's why it's coming.
Okay. So
You can continue, sir.
Yeah, revoke and selective wipe devices, nothing but like I said, you have 10 devices. Out of 10 devices, you wanted to make only 8 as an operational, and 2 devices you wanted to delete the data that you have installed. You can choose only that particular 2 devices instead of and deleting all other 10 devices. Like I said, say I have a 500 devices. If I wanted to install the WhatsApp Messenger only for the 5 users, I can create a smart group. The smart group could be any name. Say an example, I'd say WhatsApp group. If I'm creating a WhatsApp group, and I will add all these 5 devices into that particular WhatsApp smart group. So when I push the WhatsApp Messenger, that WhatsApp Messenger will be installed only on the 5 devices, and the rest of the devices will not be installed. If I wanted to install another 5 devices, I don't have to create another smart group. I can just add those 5 devices additionally to that particular smart group which I've created before, so that the app will get installed automatically to the other 5 devices as well. So that's all about this MDM. I'm not sure how many of you understood and how many of really got what it is all about. I'm giving you open question here. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'll try to explain it my best, which could help you on it. Any questions, you can let me know.
So guys, if you have any question, you can unmute yourselves and ask.
All right, if you have no questions, I'll tell you one thing. To get into IT industries, you don't have to be technically knowledgeable. Please keep this in your mind, because all the IT corporate organizations knows that you all are just passed out and you all are fresh. In other words, you are just a born baby for them. The organization is always ready to spend money on the freshers by providing the training on the technology for their business requirement. What is more important is all you have to know only the basic, just the basic of the technology tools that is being used in the IT industries. You don't have to be certified respective to the tools that you wanted to grow in your life. The reason why I'm saying is all the corporate industry, any organization you're going to join, they look and see only on your communication. So make sure you have the basic communication in the proper and the right form of sentence. Even if you're not technically sounded, like I said, the corporate companies are ready to spend money investing on you, providing the training with the relevant tools, technologies. But they would not spending money to keep you trained on your communication. So communication is more important to get into any organization when you are a fresher. So develop your communication skill whenever you find time, because the technology, communication is the first source, and that is the first step which will help you to get into organization and also to get a job pretty easily for any IT industries. If you are technically sounded and you know everything that you can do best in the technical, and unfortunately if you don't know communication and how to communicate it or put it in the right form of sentence, if you try to explain to someone, they will reject you because they might not understand what you're trying to say. So always keep in your mind, it is very important that you should have, I would not say that you should have a good English communication. I would say that you should have the basic communication in the right manner, and you should know how to create a form of sentence to explain when it comes to a discussion. So make sure that you have the right communication, practice to that. That will help you to grow in your life in any IT industries. When you pass out the third year, all the industries, like I said, they know you are a born baby to them, and they can easily adopt you if you have a good communication, and they will spend money investing on you, providing the training relevant to the cloud computing or networking or any other technology for their business requirement.
So I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
You said that we don't need much technical knowledge, so we are just a born baby, so they would take us and train us. But
Yeah.
in some companies, there's a round called technical round. So once only if we pass that round, we can move to the interview, right? So is there
Right.
any tips to pass that technical round?
See, you got an answer yourself. When I say technical round, do you know what is the technical round? The technical round is based on the degree what you have completed, the technology what you have mentioned in your resume,
Okay.
and the course what you have studied in your final year, whatever the engineering or whatever. So the technical round, it will only on the basic concepts. It would not be anything in depth of technical. Even if you fail technical, say an example, you have to get 8 marks to clear your technical out of 10. Even if you get 6, the company will adopt you because they know that you are just a born baby for to them, and you'll not be having much knowledge about technical, because no one will give, the college itself will not give you any technical documents or technical training uh, before you pass out of the college. They only give the theoretical and the basic concepts of the technology.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So make sure that, and remember this mind, when
Yeah.
you are in campus interview, do not say anything about which you don't know. Just talk
Okay.
about right? Just talk about what you know about the tools, and just let them look at the first phase that you know only the basic concepts of it, not the entire old technology or in-depth of ocean of that particular tools. So you have to make sure that you know only the basic concepts. So the interview who is interviewing you, he will question you only about the basic concepts.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, guys, if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask the questions. Okay,
Sir, can you hear
so
me, sir?
I'll call Mr. Badmanaban to give the vote of thanks, sir. So he'll give
Sir,
the
I have a
final vote
doubt,
of
sir.
thanks.
Am I audible?
Someone have got some question.
So I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So if mobile device management, the database cannot be found in search engines, so is it a part of a dark web?
So you have to be audible again. Can you repeat that for me?
Okay, so if the databases of MDM is not available in search engines, so is it a part of a dark web?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat that for me?
So as you said, the database and the users cannot be found in the search engines like Google or Yahoo. So is it the databases are part of dark web?
See, I mean, the Google MDM, what is that talking about the MDM, the browser?
Yes, sir.
In the mobile devices. You wanted to know how it has been handled, or what is your question?
So is it, so the data is being secured.
Yeah.
So basically dark web is things cannot be searched in search engine, right, sir?
No, it's not like that. Say an example, I'm giving you one of the devices which belong to the organization. And today I have to, today I'm going to release your pay salary slip. Okay. So if I can enable only for you to authenticate and authorize to access that particular payslip only by you, not by any others. So to make sure that I will lock your devices in such a way with the help of your user ID and the password, so that it can be accessed only by you, not by others. So when I'm sending that payslip, I'll be sending across with the passcode and everything to you, so that it will be authorized only by you to log in and view the payslip, not by the others.
Okay, sir.
Am I answered your question, or you have anything else to be answered? If you wanted to refine your questions, you can refine the question again to me so that I can answer to you.
It's okay, sir. It's fine.
Okay, sir. I'll call Mr. Padmanabhan to give the vote of thanks before we finish this webinar.
Yeah.
So, Padmanabhan, you can give your vote of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session and for lending your valuable time for us. It was a great session, and we got to know a lot of new things about cloud-based applications, especially on MDM. And it was very informative, and we got a lot of information to take home after this session, sir. So thank you, and I hope all the students watching this webinar got benefited out of this. We got a lot of viewers from this live session. So thank you to all the participants, staff members, and mainly our resource person. Thank you, sir. And also all of the committee members of TranscodeForum, with the help of all our staff coordinators, without whom this webinar won't be possible. So thank you all. So feedback form will be posted on the chat box. So fill it for your e-certificates. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you. Like I said in the beginning, thank you.
Hello.
Someone have got to present something? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I have a question, sir. Sorry for asking it late, sir.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Sir, what will you suggest us to do to get employed even if we have possessed less percentage in our academics, sir?
See, this is a good question, man. See, I did only my diploma. I have not done my degree, engineering, nothing. When I did my diploma, my parents thought that I would become a telecom engineer or electronics engineer. But unfortunately, I end up with my IT industries. So make sure that you have learned outside of your box. Like I said, don't always blindly learn what you've been told and taught by your professor. Professors always help you to understand, and they'll try to give the basic knowledge of the course which you have been chosen. It is your responsibility what you can choose and what choose best for you, and you have to learn that. I would say First, choose what fits for you. It could be MDM, it could be cloud computing, or it could be anything. Though your mark is not up to the mark, but if you have upskilled yourself any other communication, like even communication helps you. Sometimes, I've seen many people, they are not technically good, even they have not scored good marks in their exams. But if you see the way they speak in communication, it admires people and they'll get easily job what they want because they know how to convince people with the help of their communication skill. But if you see their score in the exams that they did in the degree or graduation, it even won't be 50% of that 100%. It could be only 45% or 49% that could be the least what they've scored. But if you see the communication they will speak, they got into the industry, it is like amazing. So you have to upskill yourself apart from your educational qualification to the current, because the current world is running on more competitions. Today I'm in Australia, and if I say I don't want to be in Australia to my organization, I have another person who can replace me even for 9,000 rupees. Say if I'm paying 10,000 rupees in here, he's ready to do my job for 8,000 rupees. So who is benefited here? It is the company who have been benefited. Today I'm here because I've been technically grown myself, because I have to upskill myself technically, which means I have to upgrade myself. So I would say, forget about your mark. Think about that, how you're going to clear about your education, because you need a degree. Without degree, you can't do anything. So make sure that you clear all your semesters and you don't have any arrears, even if you're cleared with just the basic marks. But make sure that you have another skill who doesn't have that. So you have to choose what choose best for you, choose it. Make sure that your communication is always good, just like a basic, not a good fluent. Don't put yourself that you have to speak like an American or an UK English or Britain English. Try to speak as you are, because we born in Indian country, because we speak the regional language. I born and brought up in Bangalore. If you see my regional language would slangs to the regional language Kannada or Tamil. But if you come to the south part of another state, Tamil Nadu, the people always communicate in the regional language. We hardly speak 10% of English in a daily basis. But the 90%, even in the college, we used to speak with your colleagues, friends, professor. We do not communicate with them in English all the time. Most of the time, we communicate with the local language. Even at house, you always speak your regional language, which one of the disadvantage for an Indian, because you cannot learn English as quicker as others do. So that's why you put yourself where you can listen, close your eyes and listen to them, what they're trying to say, and understand them. Nor you have to develop your skill spending time. So you have to give space yourself developing the other skills other than what you have been taught in the college. Trust me, it will help you. It will definitely help you if you have a good knowledge of communication, or if you have a good knowledge of any technical.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really great of you, sir.
Because see, I did my schooling only in corporation school 10th standard. Later when I joined in Tamil Nadu, I heard like +1, +2. But in Karnataka, it is not like +1, +2. We call it as PUC and PUC. We start doing our college from the 11th itself. It's called PUC. Even I had a great difficult times in understanding people when they communicate to me in English, because I studied my till 10th standard corporation school. It's not good in English because they always teach me in local Kannada, and I didn't have an option to speak with the people as to the people in English. When I went to the +1 and +2, I had a real tough time to understand the people when they communicate to me in English. But myself, 30 minutes every day, reading the newspaper, closing my eyes, listening to the people, what they're trying to say. when you listen to the people, you'll understand what they're trying to explain. So spend yourself and help your communication, because even if you're not technically sounded, but communicate to the people, they will get convinced because they have trust, and that also brings a confidence to the organization that, okay, this guy can make it up for me, so let me execute him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for accepting the proposal. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. I hope it will be very informative and very useful for the students. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy the rest of the day. I know I've bored you guys.
No, not like this. Thank you.
Yeah, be safe. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye.